Hi Anthony, welcome to Your Crafter. I just thought I'd give you a quick video just as a bit of a handover, because I know that when we do this on Monday it's going to be all a little bit too much to remember. So this might be a little bit of a brief sort of reminder as to what goes where and so on and so forth. What I'll do is I'll grab the camera now and I'll take you around a few things, talking you through what I'm showing you. It's going to be more of the essential things, the just in case sort of things. So let's proceed. Okay, coming on in here, first of all you've got your inverter under the passenger seat here. Now I've switched it on by this red button. When you do that, just make sure that you give it a couple of seconds to warm up and get up to voltage. As you can see there, it's picking up to 230 volts, and then you can start using it. At the back you can see the back of the inverter. You've got a little breaker here. This is an RCBO, okay? So you've got to make sure that's on. It trips out if there's any problems. I think you know how RCBOs work, so a lot of safety within this. And then that plug at the back there is the cable that goes to the kitchen, okay? So you can unplug that if you needed to. Inside here as well, we've relocated the fuse box just to the side there. So you can see all your fuses that you might need are in there. There is other fuse boxes in the vehicle, but that's just one of them, okay? Just gonna lift up this mat here to show you your toolbox. So under the front here, you've got a toolbox. Your wheels have now changed to a 17mm stud. So I've got to get a 17mm socket for you so that we can make sure that you can get your spare wheel on if you need to. Okay. So talking around, we'll go around the back first and I'll show you just a few of the things here. Your plumbing box. Now on the day, I'll take the lid off this. Now you can see from in here, you've got your switch for your compressor to turn on and off, connection for the compressor. That's your mixer tap out, okay? So you can turn it on hot and cold. Then you've got a couple of MIDI panels. These little panels and USBs, just so you know, press the button. If the blue light's on, then it's working. If you press the button again, turn it off, then the blue light is off. They will not work when the blue light is off, okay? Behind those panels as well, there are fuses. So if you ever find that that's not working for any reason or something's not working, that is one of the fuses you could check. Just 4 screws, undo that panel, take it out, and you'll find Anderson plugs, inline fuses, and that's where the majority of your fusing is. And it's the same on this side as well, okay? So again, fuses in there. And there's your Topogy water gauge. Now that's all Bluetooth, so it'll be on your phone via an app, but your actual controller there is just set there so that you can reset it if you need to and stuff like that, okay? Try not to block these vents. That's ventilation for the diesel hot water system, which is right there. And I'll show, you'll probably see in the top right hand corner or left, whichever way I can get it, the internals of this box, which will be the diesel hot water system, the pump, the accumulator, the compressor, and the hot air system as well. Okay, so there's a lot going on in there. It's all very neatly placed, very carefully placed. So yeah, you shouldn't need to spend too much time in there, but there are screws at the top. 4 of them in total, these little square head screws. One here, and then a couple, one at the back there, one at the back there. Unscrew that, you can take the whole lid off and you can access all that, okay? Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about this switching gear that I did. So those 3 dots there are breakers. They are 12 volt breakers for these switches, okay? So if there's one of those pop out, it means that one of these will not be working. Okay, so this one you got front tank, rear tank, so depending on which way switch it over, the electronic ball valves will switch over and determine which tank you're going to be using. Your water pump isolator switch, you can probably leave that on most of the time, to be fair, I do. Interior light, that's just for a rear light over the bed, which I'll show you now. Let's turn those off. So that just turns off those lights over the bed, the nice bright spotlights. and those have got individual switches as well, so you can turn them on and off while you're in bed. And then you've got the screen for your battery, talking through the screen. That's your state of charge, that's your current coming in and out. Page 2, discharge on, charge on. So you can turn your discharge off to isolate the battery when you're not, so everything's gone off behind me, okay? So isolate the battery when you're not using it. You should never really need to turn that off because you've got solar, unless you're parked in a garage. You know, you're leaving it in a garage. I'm just going to turn this fan on because it's quite warm in here. Unless you're parked in a garage and you're not getting any solar. The switch is on the right here. You've got the left side for your awning lights, rear lights, and then right side as well. Pretty self-explanatory. There is no fuses behind there. The fuses are these three dots. You don't need to worry about that. There is a fuse tucked up behind this moon box here. So just so you know, that is for the rear panel on the passenger side. Worst case scenario, if that blows, which it should never, there is a fuse behind there, and of course there are fuses under the seats as well, near the battery, okay? So under there, under that driver's seat, you probably have to take the seat off to get to them. There are fuses, worst case scenario, or you can take the front of that battery box off as well. This control panel, so that is your diesel heating and hot water control, your roof vent control, and USBs just here as well, and then your 240 via the inverter. So nice neat 240 double GPO there that you can use. This nice surface for a kettle and so on and so forth. And then the fan needed today. I'll turn that on, thank you very much. And then the moon boxes. Nothing you really need to know about these. If you ever needed to remove them, then you've got these little wing nuts at the top here and at the back, 4 of them in each one, and you can just take the whole box out and get to behind it. So you've got cables behind there and so on and so forth. Okay. It's a bit warm in here today. Just as we discussed, worst case scenario, if something should happen where your pump doesn't work for whatever reason and you can't get any battery power, there is an emergency tap on this tank. So you slide underneath, you can see here, I've just put a tap system here. You just drop it down like so, and then you've got a tap that you can always draw water from this rear tank. Okay, there's never going to be a reason, as long as there's water in there, it's always going to be able to come out. Okay, so if you get stuck in the middle of nowhere and there's no power for whatever reason, you know you can get water from that little tap system. It's a bit cramped under here, but I am on a creeper. So that's all you need to know really from under here. I'll show you where the water inlet is as well. So when you're putting water into the vehicle, you're going to do it via this little inlet here. So you plug a hose into it. It's got a tap right next to it. Open up that tap, and then you can see it's dripping out as soon as I open the tap. You've got a 350 kPa pressure regulator there, so you can't overpressure the tanks, and just fill the tanks up until they overflow. Okay. Once they're full, then you reset your Topogy flow meter, and that's already set to 195 litres. And then as the water's flowing out of the tanks, doesn't matter which one, it'll tell you how much water you've got left. Okay, so probably best to try to use one tank, leave one dry until you really need it. Look forward to seeing you on Monday.